guys, welcome back. Agent Academy is now in session today.
Hello, everybody.
Today we're here with Virginia Madden. She is a productivity coach and she helps agents and entrepreneurs be productive and organize their jobs and their lives. So we're super grateful to have you on. Thank you so much for coming.
So we'll talk a little bit about your background, Virginia. So you're a local.
Yes.
Which is very rare in San Francisco these days to run into somebody local, but you went to San Francisco State.
Yep.
And then there was no probably career degree in organization. What got you started?
No, there wasn't. I learned about this in college, and there was no degree to do or anything like that to study, but I did have a background in life. I grew up in a home that was pretty cluttered. My dad was a hoarder, and so it was pretty interesting.
What is that like growing up in a...
Household
is it
like
called
that?
A hoarder's home? Is that... What do they call it?
Well,
was he a true hoarder?
Yeah, in the industry, there's a rubric that we use to determine what determines a hoarder, and so he was definitely on the scale. He's probably not what you imagine a hoarder might
like that
be.
show
Like those,
hoarders.
exactly. No, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like dirty. It was just lots and lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So having
my
to
garage.
learn, yeah. So having to learn how
Kids'
to
toys.
navigate from a young age with a lot of stuff helped me to develop systems that I just grew up with and adapted and changed as I went to school and then college and then work. And so over the years, I sort of fine-tuned my ability, and I noticed my favorite part at all my jobs was the systems and helping other people create systems. And so when I was looking for a change, that's what I did. I thought, well, I like systems. I like helping people do that. I'm good at it. So it's my favorite part of what I do. So why don't I just do that? And there wasn't a job, so I just started my own.
Well, you're an entrepreneur, and so is everybody out here. And so that's why we really wanted you to be on, because, again, all these academy sessions are really how do we help agents be the best entrepreneurs they can be. And so thank you so much. Nothing shows better as an entrepreneur than the path didn't exist, so I created it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Virginia.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Real quick, we'll get started. Nuts and bolts. We really want to be tactical in how we do this, and really get into specifics and not be too general. You always hear these days, time is our most valuable asset. I hear it over and over and see more and more articles where people are recognizing time is an agent's most valuable resource. How to use your time efficiently, right? Be the most efficient at your time. I see agents all the time, including me, all self-aware, mismanaged time. Is there one or two things right off the bat that you coach people and you go, this is so common, and this is like one or two of these things that everyone does, and this is what you could do?
Yeah. So
I figured you would.
Yeah. Oh man. So one of the most common ones is people not following their plan. So oftentimes I find that realtors are really, really good goal setters, and they have really good strategies. And when it comes time to actually execute, that's when they start second guessing themselves, and that's when they start doubting. Especially when it comes to calling clients, it's, am I bugging them? Do they want to hear from me? All those types of things start popping up into agents' heads that prevent them from actually following their plan. But when they sit back and they strategize and they tell me what they're looking at doing, it's like, yeah, everything that you have laid out sounds amazing. It's just you're not following your plan when it comes down to it. So I think...
So how do you get them to, like, what's the push? Is it just don't think about it, just do? Or is there something...
Honestly,
I don't want to give away all the secrets.
But for agents, that's really common. So everybody's...
It's so true, though.
Everybody
it's
has
so
different
true.
motivation, but that's certain types of people gravitate toward being agents, and they're definitely... often the types that I can just say, just do it. And they're like, okay, that's all I needed to hear. I'm just going to do it. But really, if you can find your own motivation for getting things done, that's going to be the best one. But honestly, for agents, it's really common. If I just say, no, you need to do that, they'll say, okay, well, you told me to do it, so I'll do it now.
So true. I feel like I'm always telling you, like, just do this.
Yeah, I know, because I do a fundraiser for charity, and I'll sit there and just look at the list of people I have to call, and I'll just get distracted, or I'll start cleaning my desk, and I'm like, just don't think, because I'm like, oh, do I really want to ask these people for money, or like
Yeah.
whatever it is, like for the charity or like for business, like do I really want to call them? And I think it's so true. Agents allow themselves to get distracted, and they really tactically have to just be like, oh, it's on the list.
Yep.
Execute.
Yeah, because you waste a lot of time when you do that, when you do the procrastination. But it also kind of dovetails to the next thing, which is that people don't know that you're thinking of them, which sounds really, really obvious. And it's, in a broader sense, what you sometimes agents need is a sort of a mindset shift to be able to execute the tasks that they want to execute. So a quick example is on my walk to my kids' preschool, I walk by this one house the same houses every single day, but this one house was for sale for a long time, and it was sold by a Compass agent, and I know her. And she was one of my old clients. And so every day I walked by, I was like, oh, I gotta call her. She has no idea that every day I'm thinking I have to call her. But in my mind, we've already had this whole conversation. Because I think, oh, I've got to call her and tell her congratulations on the sale and blah, blah, blah. And so in my mind, I've had that conversation 5 times. And she has no idea that conversation has happened.
It's so true.
So finally one day I had my phone, I didn't have my kid. I was like, oh, the perfect opportunity. I'm going to call her. We had a great few minute chat, and it was done. So I think that it's sort of like the more times you've sort of completed the loop in your head of that task, even though nothing's actually happened.
Yeah.
So if you can sort of reframe it that way, that no matter how much you're thinking of somebody else, they don't necessarily know that you are.
And you've wasted all this time thinking about it, whereas if you had just done it on that first day or executed,
you'd be on to the next thing.
You'd be on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Now you've delayed in some ways by not doing that. You've wasted more time, which is, again, your most important resource. So, well, that's great. Another question that I thought might be interesting to ask you, because you're in this field and you're seeing everything, and we're in the age of technology, and we're in the San Francisco, I think in the 60s was the hub of changing the world. In the 60s, I think once again we're seeing it change the world with tech. And so it's really cool to be a part of this. Are you seeing out there like any apps on the phone or anything like that
like
you go,
softwares you can download?
Like, this is a game changer to help entrepreneurs stay organized or do certain things?
Yeah. So there are...
Thank God I had I could answer that. Because I can't wait. I need it.
So there are... I'm going to give you a general answer first, because there are a few different metrics I look at. There's no one like this is absolutely the only CRM you should ever use, unfortunately, because different agents need different things. And even if you're a real estate agent and you think, oh, everybody should want the same thing, you have different priorities and different focuses. So what you should really look at is how long an app has been around, how established it is, if it has all the features that you need. All of that is much more important than me just saying, oh, go use this one app. The other thing that's important is making sure that you have a complete system for using your tool, because oftentimes when people think that they need something, they just go straight for the tool or the program or the app or the whatever or the wallet or anything. It's like this thing will make me organized. What they're missing is the second critical point to a system, or part to a system, which is the process. What process or habit, or how do you interact with the tool that you're using? So if you have the perfect app in the world, but you get a business card and you put it in your pocket, a couple weeks later you find it, don't remember where you met that person. That's not.
I got a whole shoebox.
That's not gonna. It doesn't matter if you have the best CRM in the world.
So true.
So refining the system that you have so that you can put the data in a way that makes sense. So, how do you want to differentiate the people who you're adding to your app so that later on you can market to my doctor clients, or my clients who have kids, or my clients who have pets, specifically dogs, or so everybody has like a different little niche that they sort of like to focus
It's funny
on.
that you talk about the dogs, because that we noticed like there are some agents out there that have used that as a vertical. Like their Instagram is all dogs.
Yes.
Their website shows all the parks and like different things that are associated. And it's so true. Like when you go build your business, you have to create a system. Like, how am I going to attack this from? And we've talked over and over at Agent Academy. how running it like a pro,
Yeah.
running your business like a pro, giving them the respect that it deserves, and putting in place systems and saying, okay, what am I going to target? And then how do I really leverage that, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
With systems.
Yes.
And then you can hold yourself accountable, right?
Yeah,
And you're really holding yourself accountable.
We were talking about it earlier. I think it's difficult for agents because when you work in a corporate world, you're at this big company that have already thought about all the softwares.
Mm-hmm.
They know what the perfect software is for the company, for what it's selling, for the type of employees that they have. And so you're just told what software to use, and then it's perfect and you don't have to think about it, and you're told exactly the system to do. And with agents, one reason why we love being agents is because we don't have people telling us what to do, and we get the benefits of having our own business and doing whatever we want. But at the same time, it's also negative because we're out there trying to figure out what is best for us, and we spend so much time thinking, what software is best, and trying out different softwares. Like, it would just be so helpful to just have someone be like, use this.
Yeah, and that's really true. So actually, that brings up a good point. Is anything made for the industry is going to be better than anything that's generic.
Yeah.
So Salesforce is great. Zoho is great. Those are great CRMs. I would recommend them. But if there is I deal with this with a lot of lawyers where there's a lot of stuff built for the legal world, and it's like just use that, because they've already given all that thought into it.
Exactly.
So I like the Compass Real Estate CRM because it's built for a real estate company with that sort of mindset. That's better than just using sort of a generic one.
So let's take a random situation. If you had, let's say, a shoebox of cards, hypothetically, if there was an agent out there that had a shoebox of cards, is there a tool that would allow that agent to put those cards and digitize them that you've heard of, or is that a thing?
Is that a thing?
Oh,
Not
like when
for
you
me.
scan like a check into a bank, that'd be
Right.
so cool if you could like scan a business card to
I think
a
you
CRM.
can, well, that's what I'm curious. Is there technology, or could I take it somewhere? Or
Yeah.
could that person?
Could that person take
Could
just
that
the couple
person
of cards that
do
have
that?
accumulated? Yeah, and actually yes. And before I forget, I wanted to mention another program that is really helpful. It's there's a couple, I think, versions out there. I use Zapier, Zapier,
And we'll put that in under the
Perfect.
video so people don't
and
have
that
to
connects apps. So
interesting.
one thing that helps.
Explain that.
One thing that's frustrating is there is no one perfect app, right? You have, maybe you're using Google Docs and you have your CRM and you're using Constant Contact or MailChimp, and they all do their thing, but you're having to transfer data among all the different programs, and there's no one program that does all the things. So Zapier, it's an API essentially. It connects the apps, so you can say, hey, as soon as I upload a contact into my CRM, automatically transfer them or send them an email
the
through
Constant
MailChimp
Contact
or
one.
Constant Contact
Interesting.
or something like that. So that can be a really big time saver
Wow.
and help with system.
That would be
and more-
amazing.
A little bit more fluid.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I think every agent, I know I deal with this, and I mean, it's just gotten crazy, but email. I remember I used to work at Oracle, a technology company, and it was like 93, 94, and you would get maybe 3 or 4 emails a day, and it was the most exciting thing. You're like,
Yeah,
wow,
right.
I got an email, and like, this is so cool. Now, emails are destroyers of people's lives. Like, literally, I think I get 500 a day, and to unsubscribe will actually take me longer than to just hit delete, right? Because they make you go
That
through like
day.
3 or 4 page, right? Like things, and then unsubscribe, and then they still get you the next day, and they now subscribe you back. So with email, like, because we're getting just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds or thousands, we're just getting pounded. How do you help agents? Are there any tricks with email?
So you made a really good point, because I'll tell my clients that hitting delete that one time is faster than actually unsubscribing. But if you're hitting delete every single day for that email and
For a year.
exactly, that even if it takes you like 1 second to unsubscribe, might take you 10 seconds. over the long term, it's much more
I don't
beneficial
know.
to unsubscribe.
I've gone back and forth on this. I've done it, and then like, there's that damn email. It's just coming from 7 different companies. It's
I will.
the same.
I will say I have unsubscribed from some companies, and I still get their emails,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah.
But that's more rare than not. But I think especially so one of the biggest things I find with realtors is that they're really afraid of the important stuff falling through the cracks.
Right. Because now we're on our phones, right? So I'll get 20 emails, and then I can't go back through.
Right.
And find that, and I've missed emails, and I'm like, oh my, and it always seems to be that I miss the most important, that one email, but I never miss all the junk. I mean, that's the most frustrating thing, right?
So I think a couple things that people can do is to use filters. So when you get, let's say, a new buying client or a new selling client or whatever, making sure that you set up a filter so that whenever, they can still go to your inbox, but if you just ever want to say, okay, I have a second, I just want to make sure nothing's falling through the cracks, that you can just click on that filter that you've created for that one client and say, okay, great, here are all the emails
that deal's
they
going
have
down.
sent, or the other realtor has sent, or who
Great
you can set the
advice.
filters to capture a lot of different things, just to make sure that anything regarding this transaction is going to be collected in this one
And you
spot.
could do like 5 or 6, like if
Yeah.
you had like 5 or 6 deals happening
Yeah.
at the same time, you go, okay, these are super important.
Right.
I can check this folder
And they can
every
be
day.
segmented too, so it can be one client
Great
A gets
advice.
this, client B gets this.
So if you
folder.
don't know how to create a folder, you can go to agent or filter. You can go to Agent Success. They could set it up for you.
Yeah.
If you're an agent not at Compass, you can probably find
YouTube
it
it.
online.
Yeah, you can probably find it on. It might be a few trials and errors. I find that sometimes tutorials are because technology gets updated so frequently. You might be behind a tutorial or two with the one that you find. So just give it a little bit. It might take a little bit more effort to sort of like figure.
Or
it out
join
sometimes.
Compass.
Yeah, there you go.
Or hire Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, and then with that segment, I love that. I love like that's such a great use case for setting up filters and how you can use it.
Yeah.
And I want to start implementing that right away because it's so true. Like I should have all the deals that are happening right now going to a certain inbox so that I can just double check. Like, did that happen? So that being said, so I get thousands of emails, or we get hundreds and hundreds of emails. We're also getting texts, calls, voicemails,
Messages on social media.
messages on social media,
website.
interactions. All these things. There's so many things, right, inundating us. And I've learned from millennials, don't leave voicemails anymore, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't do that. Instead of leaving a voicemail because no one wants to listen to it,
Yeah.
I send a text right after. So I call, then send a text. But are you helping people manage there's just like all this stuff. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my sound effect.
I love it. Yes, I do help people manage the. I think that one of I have a client right now. It's pretty funny. He's not an agent. You could probably never get away with this. But on his voicemail, he says, "Do not leave a message. I will not listen to it. I will delete it."
That's hilarious.
That's good.
So you could do that,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
probably won't. No, but I think it's tricky too because for realtors, you really want to be open and accessible across all
You
of these
have to
different
be,
platforms.
right?
Exactly, you have to be across all these different platforms. So I would say that for I think people too are more accommodating, and clients especially are more accommodating than we think. We tend to want to like bend over backwards for our clients, which is great.
Great
But also,
point. I mean, that's
if
great.
you
Especially
said
if
to
you set
them,
them up in the beginning,
if
right?
you said to them, look, I will always get back to you. The absolute best way to always contact me is text, email, whatever. And I always, whenever first call with my clients, what do you like best? Text, voicemails, or
That's
emails?
the ticket. You have to
Yeah.
do it up front.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like we have a team, and I say up front, like you are going to be working with our transaction
Yes,
coordinator.
exactly.
This is how it works. I'm not pawning you off
Yes.
onto somebody else and ignoring it. This is just a better way than us playing the operator game. If you send me something, I might lose it because I'm out in the
Yes.
field. And if I set the expectations up front, if I don't, they go, hey, what happened? Where are you, right?
Yeah.
But if you set the expectations, then we always get glowing referrals or glowing recommendations like, wow, what a great team that you
Yeah.
have. And I think the same, it's so insightful. We can dictate
Yes. Yes.
how we want to receive the the form of communication that
Yeah.
we work best with. So
Yeah,
if it is text, let them know I prefer text.
Yes.
Like I've started to say that to clients, and it's a golden nugget for everybody here. Set the expectation up front. Confront the soonest possible of engagement. How do you like to communicate? I prefer text.
Yeah.
If you like text, this would be the best for us.
And
Or
if you know that
boom.
you're really bad at one medium over another, you can always frame it in such a nice way. I'm on Instagram for fun and for marketing. I'm not always great about checking it, so if you message me through there, I might take a few days to get back to you. But I always have my phone on me. I'm always looking at texts. Even if I'm in meetings, sometimes I'll have it there. So that way you can frame it as not just
I love
you're
it.
not important to me, or I hate Instagram, or it's
Right.
terrible. It's just more of this is my strength. And
Yeah.
I want to support you. So if
Yeah.
you're ever looking for me, this is how you get me.
Yeah.
One thing I think, like I love LinkedIn because it's just not so overused like some of the other social media platforms, so that's why I like it. But I think in there too, I show agents all the time how they can change their LinkedIn, because right now how people look at LinkedIn, you have to go to InLink, and it takes forever. I have right in the front, and go take a look at my LinkedIn. You'll see it's got my phone number and email. And I think I just learned from you today, thank you.
Put one of them.
Saying I prefer text is the easiest way to reach me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like don't use the I am through LinkedIn. I will not see
Right,
it for
right.
for
Oh
days.
my gosh, those messages. Yeah.
Right?
I was going to say, or they're probably marketing spam.
Yes, that's all they are.
Right. So I think that's super valuable. Like you can even take in LinkedIn or in your Facebook, you can write in there instead of like dad, pool, soccer. You can say like text me.
Yeah.
Here's my number, and
Yeah.
that's just outstanding advice.
Awesome. Good.
On
Glad you'll use that one.
yeah, and saying up front too. I really think
Yeah.
up front talking to your client and setting that expectation, love it, because we forget to do that all the time, and we do have control.
Yeah.
Right?
Is there something when you're working with real estate agents, is there one thing that they all do that they could just all do better?
Oh my goodness. That's a really good question.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. What does everybody do that they could all do better?
Like something that you go, oh my god.
Like
yes,
every time you work with an
again,
agent,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
you're gonna walk in and they're gonna be like, oh.
Well, we kind of alluded to it earlier. Call your clients. Call them. Call them regularly. Work your farm. You know what you need to do. Just do it. If you learn nothing else
Just
from
do it.
today, just go do it right now. Pause this video, make one call, and then come back and finish it.
And so kind of highlighting a lot of stuff that we talked about today, it's putting in a structure or a process.
Yes.
Right? And then following through with those, and you call them, it's a great word, systems.
Yeah.
Right? So you have the systems that you probably already know what to do. Right? If you're an entrepreneur, you already know what to do. Or you're in this business because of certain things that you are good at and you have strengths. You're social, you like to talk to people, or in engagement. But it's if your business is struggling or you want to get more business, you already have probably the right thought process.
Yeah.
Or you know, but it's just doing it and setting up the systems.
That is like, especially at the beginning of the year, or when I have like a new social client, what I do is I figure out the plan and then I literally calendar block every single thing that I need to do for them. So some days maybe I'm too busy to do it, but I see that it's on my calendar, so then I would do it at the end of the day, or I'll do it the next day. But I find that calendar blocking helps me a lot.
Me
I
too.
think it would help some agents a lot. Some agents, their schedule is just so crazy and they may not look at their calendar. I'm not sure, but that's something that helps me a lot.
Yeah, I think too that you pointed out the other thing that's really important, and more of it. So that my first piece of advice was a very specific. You can do that now. The second one is, and you also commented on it a bit, was the systems. Making sure that whatever's falling through the cracks right now, you need a better system for. And you have a system for it. It's just not an ideal one. So grabbing the business card, putting it in your pocket, not so ideal of a system. But you have one.
Tell your friend.
That's what it is. Yeah, tell your friend.
Oh, I mean, yes.
So if you can take a minute and say, all right, where's the breakdown in this process? Because that part is a process part. And do I have the appropriate tools? So if you didn't have a calendar and you're just trying to like remember all the things you have to do for a client, that's not going to work out so well.
Right.
But having the process of, okay, I get a new client, I know all the things I have to do, and I immediately input them in the calendar. And then when it comes up, I do it within 1 to 3 days. That's a perfect process for you. I've noticed typically my realtor clients have not been as diligent about following what's on their calendar, unless it's like a meeting with a client,
right?
Or open house or something like that. They'll follow that. So I'm less. I am usually less rigid with using calendars with agents. If you like using calendars, then by all means, and if you follow what's on your calendar, then I think that's a great solution.
Especially for like routine tasks, like you do every week. Like some people go, hey, I'm going to write a letter, or like 10 letters a morning.
But she's right, because agents push those things off to go meet with clients or whatever.
Right.
Agents are always pushing off their household item things that they need to do. They push all of those off to meet with clients, which is great, and they need to meet with clients, but doing all these organizational things is almost just as important.
Yes, of course I agree with
that.
And I think with agents too, if you can have systems in place where you are able to do things in the moment, I think that's really, really agent strong suits, I think, is being able, like my example of me seeing the sign and saying, oh, I'm going to just give her a quick call right now. It's going to take me 1 minute maybe, and we ended up chatting for a while, but that was great. But I think that so many times these ideas pop into people's heads. They just drive in a neighborhood and think of an old client of theirs, or just randomly they think about, oh, I wonder how so-and-so is doing, as opposed to saying, okay, well, I'm going to wait till the day that I'm supposed to be calling my clients and call them then. Just, you're already sort of in that like friendly like mindset, like just pick up the phone and just do it now.
That's so
true. So true. Well, Virginia, thank you so much for coming to Agent Academy.
Yes.
I hope you guys have found this super valuable, and more important, we'd like to share with everybody out there at the Academy how they can get in touch with you if they need to or want to hire your services, because obviously you know what you're doing, and we really appreciate your sharing today.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I had a great time with you.
How do they get a hold of you?
They can go to my website, comfortablestructure.com, and
that will be below. So we'll have that down below. So comfortablestructure.com.
Yep, and I have information there about just general information, blog stuff. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can contact me through there. And there's also information on the residential side of my business, which is more about getting homes ready for sale, or if you have a client who's reluctant to part with their things and get out of the house so you can stage it and sell it.
And how about if they're moving in too? I noticed that always, like, it can take clients, and I think one of the best gifts that you can do as a closing gift for a buyer is offer an organizer, or is that what you do, right? Is help them unpack.
Yes.
And do a gift like that. It is invaluable. One question too is there's that show that I watched on Netflix. It's called
oh yes, I know which one you're talking about.
What's it called?
I don't know, but I know the one.
Tidy
the
something,
Japanese,
right? Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, I watched that and I like literally cried because the very first episode, it was nothing about cleaning up. It was about relationships.
Right.
Or like how it affects your life.
Right. And it was like this husband and wife really struggling and going through, and she's taking the clothes and she goes, say thank you and throw it away.
Yeah.
You know, and just putting up pictures that make you happy from your life. And I realized like how we forget those things. So if you want to watch that show, it's a great show on Netflix. We'll put it in there.
Yeah.
But I really, you just have a career that is so important for people to hopefully learn from you and implement it in their lives, and you're doing great work. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Virginia. Can I say one last thing?
Sure.
I just remembered. Stick with it. It's hard. I use the analogy of cooking. They don't teach it in school anymore. If you had a good teacher at home teaching you how to cook, then you're probably a good cook. It's natural for some people. It's just like creating systems and organization in your business and your life. People just assume that they should be good at it. But you shouldn't. There's no reason why you shouldn't, and some people struggle with it. And there's help out there if you are struggling with it. But don't feel bad about it, and stick with it.
And know that you can and change it.
Yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely.
And make that tweak. And one of those tweaks might be going to comfortablestructure.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.